It all happened on a random Tuesday night, my freshman year of college. I was hanging out in my dorm lounge when my friends walked in with a poker set. They all started playing and asked to join. Obviously, I had no idea how to play poker, but as an entitled 18-year-old, I was already better than all my friends at everything, so poker's no difference. And somehow I was just running so hot that night, I was taking down pots after pots without even knowing the first thing about the game. And I was just hooked to poker after that. I spent a lot of my time studying poker, watching poker videos, and just trying to be a better poker player every single day. And I just thought it would be cool to document this journey and share it with you guys. Yeah, with that being said, my name is P. I'm a full-time college student, part-time duster, and welcome to my poker vlogs. Let's see where this journey takes us, baby. Alright, after a long 2-hour bus ride, we're finally at Moneymaker Social, where I'll be filming this vlog. I actually go to school in Indiana, where the gambling age is 21, and I'm 19, so I can't really play anywhere in state. But mama didn't raise no bitch, so I took a Greyhound, hopped the state line, so now I'm in Kentucky gambling my tuition money away. Mama also didn't raise a degenerate gambler. Alright, what the fuck do I know? Alright, let's get into the hints. So I ended up taking a seat at the 1-3 table for $300, and for some reason the thought of recording just terrified me for the first 30 minutes that I played, and I ended up getting into 2 really big pots that I want to go over. Unfortunately there would just be no footage, but yeah, you guys gotta deal with it. I'm sorry, but it'll be quick. This hand happened literally the second shuffle of the night. There's a raise to $10 from a short stacked under the gun who's only sitting around $150 deep. This guy I found out later to be a total maniac. Toward the end of the night, he just started shoving every hand blind, and everybody just sat there praying to God to pick up something playable. Anyways, he opened to $10, it folds around to me in the cutoff. I looked down at pocket kings, I put in a raise 35, and then it folds back to under the gun, who looked at his card and ships it. Of course I snapped it off, I'm not folding pocket kings pre. And yeah, we're off to the races. The run out actually came ace high, and I just looked at him. I was like, look, if you have an ace, you're good. But he also didn't look happy over the run out, so I just told him I had pocket kings. He didn't have to show if he didn't want to, and he mucked. And we raked in a $450 pot. You know, poker is an easy game, and you can just pick up pocket kings and shove it in pre. Could not have asked for a better start to a session. And I wish I could say the same for this next hand, involving a huge river decision. I was in the big blind with ace-queen offsuit with a queen of spades. Hijack raised it up to $10, and it folded to me. I bumped that bitch up to $40. He called, and we went heads up to a flop that gave us top pair, although not a great one. It was ace-7-9 all spades. On such a polarizing monotone board, I see no reason in betting big, so I decided to go with $20, around a quarter pot. He, however, did not agree with my logic and raised it up to $70. I was already uncomfortable, but I have top pair, great kicker, and I'm drawing to the second nuts, so I decided to call. The turn comes a complete brick. I checked it to him, and he bet out $400. I was in agony, but decided to call in hopes of improving, or he might slow down on the river if he was bluffing. And the river did not help us in any capacity. Who would have thought? I checked it to him on my knees, begging him to check it back. No. He ripped it in my mouth, covering my entire stack. This sucks. Against a normal player, I think I can overfold this spot. Triple barreling after check raising the flop on an ace high monotone board in a 3-bet pot is really underbluffed. But this guy's really loose pre, so I think he will call a 3-bet with a lot of offsuit broadways. He also seems to be a lag that's capable of turning hands like King X with the King of Spades into a bluff. Having the Queen of Spades here is relevant, but I still think this spot is really close. I tanked for a while and I ended up folding because I thought there would be a better spot. I never knew what he had, and I still think of this hand to this day. Let me know how you would have played this hand in the comment. Is this a good fold, or am I just a nit and I should stop playing poker? Around this time, I decided to stop bitching and started recording, hence the actual hand footage. However, the way I played this hand was probably more embarrassing than recording ever was. Let's get into it. I'm in the big blind with 10-9 of spades. There's an EP min raise to $6. Hijack made the call and the button 3-bet to 30. I decided to call and the other two players come along as well. The flop comes down 8-4 deuce 2 spades, exactly what we like to see. I started off with a check. The action checked around to the button, who bet 50. I could call or raise here. This time I decided to just call. The other two players came along as well. The turn comes a complete brick, but the actions ended up checking around. And the four of us ended up going to see one last card, which we did it. It's the queen of spades. I could definitely lead here, but I decided to check, given that both the EP and button are maniacs and are really prone to bluffing. And one of them did. EP bet out for 80 bucks and it folded around to me. When I checked, I thought to myself I was definitely check jamming, especially with the SPR smaller than my dick in the wintertime. I should not have said that. But just like my dick in the wintertime, I froze up and just called. This call is straight up blasphemy, and the fact that this is the first actual hand history of this channel is truly unfortunate. We ended up winning the pot and the villain only had ace high, but what the fuck, I had to jam there. It's okay though, such is life. We live and learn. On to the next one. It was honestly just smooth sailing after that hand. There were multiple instances where I would open, get called by one or two people, and then I would just c-bet the flop and take it down. The $10 to $20 I gained from each of these pots are definitely significant and accumulated over time. Also, look at this hand I was dealt in this double word Piolo bomb pot. This hand is just like my ex, really pretty, but helps my life in absolutely zero capacity. Also, notice how this hand has 4 hearts. Yeah, my ex did not have one of those. Anyways, I ran my stack up to $750 when I played this next hand that literally sent my opponent packing afterwards. Alright, in this one we have pocket sixes in the big blind. Hijack raised it up to $12, everyone but the small blind called. I defended my big blind and was instantly rewarded with the best flop I could have asked for. It comes down to the magical Jack 7-6 2 clubs. You know, there are a lot of uncertainties in my life. What am I gonna do after college? When will I ever find the courage to talk to women? Or what excuse I'm gonna use to skip legs for the 6th time in a row? But one thing I know for sure is that I'm gonna pile as much money into this pot as humanly possible. I started off with a check and the original raiser c-bet $20. The cutoff fold and the button called. That price is not gonna fly here. I literally have not flopped a set in what feels like a decade. I raised it up to 70 bucks. I would like to see myself go a little bigger here, like $85 or $90. The hijack called and the button fold. The turn comes down a great card. It's a deuce of spades. I think I could have just jammed here. The villain only had a little overpot behind, but I decided to deviate and bet $100. I just had to read that this guy wasn't as strong when he called the flop check raise. I just wanted to set up a disgustingly good price for him to call in the river. I still think a jam here is best, especially at this SPR, but it's okay, he called. The river bailed us out. It comes down the king of spades. This is a great card. Obviously all the draws breaked out and our equity is probably somewhere in the high 90s. But I think it also makes it more likely for him to call down with a hand like Jack X, given the pot odds and the fact that all the draws bricked. I fake tanked for a little bit and announced,
I'm all in. All in.
This jam sent him into a world of pain. He was in the tank for a while before making his decision. You guys can't see it, but he literally grabbed his stuff, got up from the table and said,
Alright, I'm ready to go.
And when I showed my hand, he just nodded, gave me a fist bump, and left. What a way to take an L. I gotta be more like this guy. I usually just cry and flip the goddamn table when I get cooler. This hand sent me up to over $1,000, and it leads to the last interesting hand of the night where it got involved with another deep stack at the table. In this hand, I'm on the button with 10-9 of diamonds. MP, who's sitting around $1,000 deep and is the same maniac from the Pocket King's hand, open raised to $35. Yeah, no problem, just a casual 12 big blind open. I would have 3-bet this hand at almost 100% frequency, but given the massive open size, I decided to just flat. The flop? Gin. I don't think I've missed a flop at all today. The C-bet comes in for $65. Against the smaller size, I think I might have just raised here and tried to get it in without a shit ton of equity. But this is almost a pot size bet, so I decided to just keep it cute and just called. The turn bricked out, but he checked it over to me. There are good arguments to betting and checking here. I decided to check in position to realize my equity, and I have last action on the river, so I can just bet or raise then if I get there. Again, betting here is definitely okay, but I think this guy is not really the type to fold if he has any piece of this board. So we go off to see one last card, and oh my god, what did I do to deserve this? It's the 7 of diamonds. Even better yet, he bet $220. I didn't even think about it and went all in, and he just smiled and snap folded. I have no idea what he got, but let's be honest, he can have like 6 deuce offsuits here for all we know. I ended up losing a couple medium-sized pots after this hand, but nothing that interesting to go over. The overall result, I was in for $300, out for a ton more than that. Amazing night for the kid, and a successful first episode. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video and sticking around to the end. There were definitely a lot of technical difficulties when it comes to recording this vlog, and the editing took way longer than it should have. I played that session in May, and it's now October 12th, and I still haven't posted the vlog. That definitely says a lot about my discipline. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about is how much I think I've improved over the summer. I looked back at the footage and I noticed a lot of leaks. I wasn't value betting thin enough, I was not bluffing enough, and I think I've gotten a lot better at fixing those leaks. I'll definitely be more consistent when it comes to posting, and if you guys enjoyed the video or just want to see me punt some more money, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.